Howdy guys, are you filming right now?
Yes, I'm filming.
Good. So Anna's filming, and she talked me into filming this. So originally on these 750 tunnel ram carbs, which you guys will have seen the video on these detailing some of the other Holley carburetors I got. We have one that's pretty bad off, and by bad off I mean we finally got the broken jet out. Unfortunately, that hole is stripped. This hole is demolished. There's nothing left of it. It's just smooth. And well, that jet is actually right here. Had to thread a screw in there and literally pry it out. That's how stuck it was. I heated it up, penetrated it, did everything I could, and it jumped. Well, unfortunately, they don't make helicoils for metering blocks, and the thread is 1/4 by 32, special thread by Holley. Thank you, Holley. And they make a tap, thank the Lord, but there's no way to, I mean, if your hole's already wallered out, you can't solve that issue. You can't retap it. So I'm doing an experiment. I grabbed a junk metering block. I don't know what it goes to, so it's just one of my many parts. So what we did was we drilled the hole out considerably. I don't know what size that bit is. I just going off measurements and stuff. So the idea is drill the hole out on the good metering block if it works, and then machine an aluminum plug. Actually, my buddy Brian, Dust Devil Garage, he had this idea last night on Discord. We were talking. Right there, we've got about 10 thousandths to go, and that'll be our plug, and that'll be about 200 thousandths deep, because inside of there's a hole, an orifice, and that's where the fuel is fed through the main jet. And there should be enough wall thickness on that according to measurements. I don't measure too good. And once that is machined, all I got to do is part it off at 200 thousandths, and then we'll take a sleeve retainer, which, if you're unfamiliar with sleeve retainer, basically it's what you use to glue sleeves into an engine block. It's good stuff. Once it's in here, it won't come out. So we're going to glue that in here at the right depth, and then we'll come back, drill it, tap it, and with all things said, this jet should then thread back in here, and we'll have a functioning metering block again. And if you don't trust about sleeve retainer, so these are dowels I actually made on the lathe. They're 100 thousandths thick, and I glued them in. They're not going anywhere. So with that all said, I'm going to get back to work on the lathe, which means Anna needs to get out of my way because I'm trapped right now. And I'm going to make a plug. Anna, you got to watch where you're going.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep filming. Okay, so back to our measurements. So this actually, I misspoke. It'll be 125 thousandths thick. So basically 1/8 of an inch. All I'm doing is I can actually see down in here, you can actually see the orifice where the fuel is fed through. I don't know if Anna can see that or not. But so I take my calipers here and I look down in there, place the flat edge on there. That's going to be perfect. It could be a little bit deeper, but now we'll know that plug is only going to be that long. See that little spud sticking out? That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. So right now we are measuring 360 thousandths, and we need to go to 355. And that'll be a nice snug fit for the sleeve retainer. So I'm going to do that and whatnot. Let the lathe calm down. Make sure there's no burrs. Double check our measurement. We're there. We can't go anymore. We are exactly there. There goes the map gas torch. Yep, that fits in there perfectly. So, see that? It's not a hot dog down hallway. That'll be just enough for the sleeve retainer to grab a hold of it. So now we are going to take our Dicom, which is just a blue dye. It's a machinist dye. And we're going to spin this lathe up. we're gonna let the lathe run while that dries, and then we'll get our measurement back on our calipers. And yes, I am always cautious of what I do on the lathe. We know we need it to be about 125 thousandths. We'll get that set locked in, and then we'll take this, we'll scribe it on there, we'll part it off, and good to go. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and pre-drill this guy, because once it falls into that hole, if I can't retrieve it, if it goes too deep, we're screwed. Especially with the sleeve retainer. And if it plugs up that orifice, we're really screwed. So again, this is just a test. This is not on the real metering block we're fixing. So we got a drill bit. It's 1364. It's about 200 thousandths in diameter. It clears the thread on a good metering block, so that's all we're going to need to be able to get with a pick on there. So we're going to make sure this is center. We're going to fire the lathe up. We're going to drill a hole. Now we can mark our depth of cut, which is 125 thousandths. Which, if I remember right, I'm gonna double check it again. You can never measure too many times, especially when you're not good at measuring. Anna, don't knock over the torch again.
I'm trying not to.
So now, I'm not a machinist by any means. Don't mind the lack of startup capacitor on my lathe, so I got to hand start it. They start parting some aluminum. It is. That's our repair. So now we have our repair plug. That's all it is. Is there a jet over there? Oh, there's a jet right here. So when it's all said and done, that'll be drilled and tapped. So that's plenty of wall thickness there. That guy should go right in there. And let's try not to be a dumbass and drop it in there, but it should fit right in there nice and snug. We'll clean the dicom off so that way it's got a nice surface to glue to. And voila, should work. Stay tuned. I got to order a tap now. All right, guys, we're back. It's been a minute, to say the least. The garage is an absolute mess because we're working on filming a new video for the van. But thanks to our dang good friend Patrick at Mostly Old Mopars and Rust. Thank you, Patrick, for having the most anonymous name for Mopars ever. Got some really cool cars. Go check him out. He actually hooked me up with figuring out what size drill bit we needed. So 7/32 drill bit to do our final hole on our test block, and then we'll do our good ones. I went ahead and glued their inserts in. Allstate hooked us up with the, I say hooked up, I bought this thing, it's about 20 bucks for them. You can buy it on Amazon for like 13, but I'm all about supporting good companies like Allstate Carburetors. I get all my carb supplies from them, so I got the tap from them, and this is 1/4 and this should, if this glue sets up as hard as it's supposed to, which it's been sitting here for over a week now, and that taps, that means we have a viable, easy enough way to fix any jet holes that get stripped out. Now this should never be an issue. Jet holes should not get stripped out. I don't know what the hillbillies did with these guys, but they hurt them pretty bad. As you can see, I put on all 4 of them on this one. If I ever got this issue, I've got a blank I made sitting over there on the lathe, and I can always make more of these now. I got all the measurements, I got everything figured out. So, but I'm gonna get this final hole drilled, tap it, and we'll show you when we're done. Alrighty, so I'm gonna call that a success. So I've sat here, and there's the threads. Here's our test jet, and we'll get her started. There we go. Put our jet tool on here, and it threads in there nice, gets in there nice and tight. A little bit of preload, and I sat here with penetrating fluid and brake clean, and no leaks. Seals up really nice. So now I'm going to do those, the real metering blocks, instead of the test piece. So just so you know, you need a 7/32 drill bit, and this is for the final sizing of the plug that goes into here. This is our blank that's going to machine whatever else we might need in the future. You'll need a, what is this, 23/64, which is what I use to drill the hole out. And yeah, and then you'll need the tap, obviously, and some kind of way to make a plug. If you don't have a lathe, then this whole idea is kind of out. And if anybody watches this video and they have this issue and they don't have access to a lathe and they want this repair done, email me. My email's in the description. I'd be more than happy to fix a metering block for you, because when you got special metering blocks like these 6109s, it's nice to be able to fix them. I also fixed the dowels, as you can see. I glued those in. So yeah, sorry about that. I just realized the camera was flipped in the wrong direction, wrong orientation. But the whole point of doing this video is not only to fix these metering blocks, but it's to show people that it doesn't matter what your skills are, what tools you got to work with. Anything is possible with time. I didn't have a lathe for the longest time, and now that I have one, I can't imagine why I wouldn't have ever owned one before. So here's my challenge to everybody. If you got a dream where you think you want to maybe weld someday, get a welder. Get a good one. Don't buy some little piece of crap, because that'll hurt your influence on your welding skills. So like I bought all Eastwood stuff. Eastwood's never cut me a deal, but I've got their TIG over there on the bench. And I've got their MIG gun, or their MIG, their 175, and I've got the MIG TIG 200 AC/DC. And I love those things. With that TIG 200, I was able to teach myself how to run a TIG and do a lot of aluminum repairs. And with this lathe, it's really opened up my capabilities. Like, I was able to freaking fix metering blocks. And shout out to my good friend Brian at Dust Devil Garage for kind of inspiring me on this repair. And thank you to Tall John at Tall John's Fun Shop for offering to fix them. But I'm kind of glad that I went ahead and attempted it on my own, because now I know I have the ability. I have the tools right here all set out, and now I can do more of these. Hopefully I don't have to, actually, because you should never strip out those holes. But, you know, just never stop improving your skill set. Always try to better yourself. Just because you master one or you get good at one little mechanic inability or any ability doesn't mean you got to stop. Always find something else to better your abilities and just continue to improve yourself as a human being. Okay, I'm done off my soapbox. So, I appreciate you guys for checking this out. I really do. And look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Maybe we'll do something a little more fun. We'll get back to working on Jezebel and Elvan. I'll see you guys in the next one. So take care, and bye-bye.